The views and opinions expressed in the following program are those of the hosts and guests, and not necessarily those of the staff and management of WWDB TV.
Y'all ready for this?
Booyah! We are back. Well, I'm certainly back. It's good to be back.
Yep.
It is Wednesday. It is July 18th, 6 p.m. Pacific Daylight Time. That means it's time for another installment of Southern Nevada Sports News coming to you from WWDBTV.com. My name is Bill Miller, co-host, and very glad to be back in the saddle, along with
Jeff Donut.
And again, it is very good to see you and good to be back, buddy.
Yeah, of course, man.
All right.
Good to have you.
Yeah.
Even though we did have a good time last week. We had the new B from 91.5.
Yes.
Was on,
Yeah.
and he's always a good guy. I've known him for a bunch of years, and just a good character, man.
Yeah.
We had a lot of fun.
Yeah. And
No replacement, by the way.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that. And, of course, in the saddle on the engineering board, Studio Honcho, John Stiles. There we go. That's what I'm talking about. Good to see you, John.
Good to see you, Bill.
And it's always good.
He's over there ribbing Bill.
Yeah, make me fill out a resume and everything to get back in here. It is good to be back, folks, and another Wednesday. And, of course, this past week was the All Star break. Yeah,
Yep.
Last night was the All Star game. Obvious pitcher's duel, 10 home runs, record for an All Star game. With the high-octane pitchers that they were talking about as the starters, and the relievers coming in. The final 10-8 in 10 innings, and once again the American League won, and they'll have home field in the big show. I can't remember the last time the National League won.
Yeah.
It's been that long.
I think it's got to be 7-8 years.
Yeah, and it's amazing.
Well, I mean, if we remember, I mean, the National League literally dominated this for so long. It was literally
years.
like a double-digit lead at one point.
Yeah.
And they just kind of closed the gap. I think it's about even now.
Yeah, and for as long as baseball and the All-Star game has been around,
Yeah.
that says a lot.
Well, I mean, if we just want to touch on another rivalry that's just like that, Ohio State still has to beat Michigan about 20 times in a row to catch up. Keep that in mind, Ohio State fans. Just throwing that out there.
That means you, George.
Keep up the good work. You guys have been dominating to us lately.
There's so much tradition in that game.
Yeah.
And it's and between the fans of Big Blue and the Ohio State University, there is no love lost there.
I mean, just to touch on it, just really quickly, Bishop Gorman, obviously one of the better programs in Nevada, is going to have a couple starters on that team this year.
Yes.
Which is it's hard to kind of root against the squad when you know some of the kids on the team. It's different when it's just like guys you don't know, but when you actually have watched these guys play high school ball.
Yeah.
You and I believe it was you and I. You went to a championship game with me.
Yep.
When the last year that the quarterback was playing, and he only played the first half because I think they were up about 40 to 42 nothing or something.
With Gorman, tends to happen. You're going to get a chance to play even if you're third or fourth in the depth chart.
Yep.
The way they pack on some of these leads. But the Gorman program and in addition, growing number of local other public schools here.
Oh, absolutely.
In Las Vegas are sending these young men around the U.S. and D1, D2, and D3 programs. Nevada football, preps in general, but Southern Nevada football is just become this awesome program.
Hey, well, don't shake a stick at Northern. I mean, we got McNamara, that's the Reno quarterback.
Right.
That will be. He went to Michigan, signed with Michigan.
Yeah.
I tried frantically to get him on here, but I got shut down. I guess you got to be. That's why I really want to get these kids while they're young, so they'll remember who I am.
As soon as they,
as soon as they get that Michigan offer, it's like who cares about those schmucks?
We try to get them as juniors because sometimes as seniors, I'm not saying they get jaded, but
they do.
Let's just say their time becomes a bit constricted.
Yeah.
But I will say this, and if you're a fan of the show and a friend of the show, you know that we love spotlighting Nevada preps.
Yep.
And it's one of the things that, you know, we always set out to do, we enjoy doing, and it's really good to get these young men and women in here to talk about, you know, their particular sports. And we cover a wide variety of sports, and it's one of the best things about the show that we do.
Yep.
And because we can always talk about, you know, pro sports, you know, college sports, etc. But when you have local athletes here, and you know, they talk about, you know, their hopes and their dreams. And,
No, it's great. We're gonna have one on later today.
Yes, yeah. We are. Dillon Fedor, who is a junior kicker with Liberty High School, which is a very high octane high school program here in town.
Yep.
So he is going to hopefully be joining us in the studio later on. But you know, so again, we last night was the All Star Game.
Yes.
You know, and the only professional All Star Game that actually means something. And I think it's also, as far as the players are concerned, it's very enjoyable to not only play, but they also know that they're playing for essentially home field advantage in the big show.
Yep.
And once again, the American League, they've done it again. Yeah, and we were talking about that before. We really don't know how many straight games.
Yeah, I think it's got to be 7 or 8. I'm guessing.
But 10 home runs last night. I don't think anybody expected that, because it was 1-0 in the second inning. I think by the third inning it was maybe 2-1. So it just sort of took off from there, and it was in 10 innings. You know, going back the night before Monday, you know, and almost like you know, this you couldn't have scripted it any better. The home run derby. You know, local boy makes good. Bryce Harper. You know, the big show was in Washington D.C. Came through, won the home run derby in true fashion. You know, you couldn't have written that. I mean, that was just you know, and good for Bryce. I mean, you know, we had the opportunity to watch him play locally here.
Yep. At CSN. Yep.
Yeah, and you know, and he was literally a man among boys then, and certainly knew that you know, he was headed straight for the majors. And,
Absolutely.
You know, he has not looked back in any way, shape, or form.
Well, you know, speaking about some men against boys, Connie Mack tournament is coming down to the last few teams. So I went out and watched a couple of games, and I'll tell you what, man, some of these kids, they're 13, and I'm looking at these kids, I'm like, this kid's 13 years old? I'm talking like 6'2", 200-pound, 13-year-olds. And one of my buddy's son plays, so he's out there playing at first base, pitching the last couple innings, ripped a couple of home runs, you know, and I'm like, this kid is killing this ball, right? So he gets later into the series, played for the All-Stars. He gets later in the series, and, you know, I told my buddy, I said, hey, man, this is great. You know, they're doing really good. Everything looks great. The problem is that when you get to the last part of these, like, all the kids are your son's size.
Yeah.
You know, so it was not just 1 or 2 players on the team. The whole team is that big.
Yeah, you know, I remember watching my sons, you know, play Little League and, you know, play in high school, but the size of these young men nowadays, you know, it's, you know, I'm just saying, like, wow. I mean, I'm looking sometimes at, you know, because we do cover a lot of football, but looking at freshman football players, you know, these guys look like varsity players when my sons were playing.
Yeah.
And, you know, of course, kids in junior high look like a lot of the guys that I played with in high school.
Right.
You know, it's, you know, they're getting bigger, they're getting stronger, they're getting faster, and I realize that, you know, the whole dynamics now were that, you know, it's, you know, they're kind of like, these kids are picking a sport at an early age, and their parents, you know, are sort of like kind of funneling everything into that. And so that the conditioning, the diets, and all of those things are far different than they were when, you know, you and me, well, I don't know about you, but definitely as far as I'm concerned.
No, it was straight hamburgers and Arby's, like when I was a kid.
Yep.
Actually, Hardee's, not even Arby's.
Yeah, pizza, Pops. I mean, that was essentially the training table diet. You know, maybe spaghetti. You know, I think that was our game meal.
Well, I mean, that and the fact that, you know, a lot of these kids that play baseball, like, you know, the gentleman from Rancho that we had a few weeks ago, that's all he does is play baseball. He plays baseball year-round, travels baseball, does everything baseball. You know, when we were growing up, you know, when it was you played football, and football season was over, you went and played basketball.
Yeah.
And when that was over, you went out and played baseball.
Played
and you might miss
baseball.
a few practices depending how deep you went in the playoffs. But everyone played 3 sports.
Yeah, and typically, especially in like the Midwest and Northeast, hockey was in there somewhere. So you may have even been tracking in 4 sports. But it is what it is, and God bless these young men. I mean, I think the competition is so fierce, and plus you have now this element where parents are holding kids back a year.
Yeah.
To make them, because where their birthday may sit, they're actually competing against kids who are a bit older.
Right.
So they will hold them back a year, and I'm glad I didn't. I'm not in a situation where I would have to make that decision for my son. Honestly, I mean, because let's face it, certainly me, I graduated in '75.
Right.
I'll give you an idea. So when I was in elementary school, yeah, but anybody who got held back a year was not considered, oh yeah, well they're prepping to make sure that they're on track to really compete. No, they had other issues going on.
Right.
And I really
they rode the short bus.
Yeah. So from a social standpoint, I just don't know how that fits in. But then again, these are obviously parents and kids who are sitting down and making that decision.
Well, I think what happens is, when you're in the baseball, it's actually your age, so it doesn't matter.
Right.
But when you get up into football and you start playing high school football, it does make a huge difference.
It does. Because
the difference of being, a 14-year-old 9th grader and a 14-year-old 8th grader is a big difference.
It's a big difference. Yeah.
Especially like when you're turning 18 and you got these 16-year-old kids that are coming into 12th grade.
Yeah. It does. So hats off, to parents who are, one of the things that we do notice typically about some of the young men and women who come onto the show who are really comfortable in their own skin.
Yeah.
And are doing it not just on the field but off the field as well. It is that family, group. It is a family, team in the true aspect. And there is a lot of concentration, thank God, on education. And so, we can't stress it enough because we've seen, how that aspect of it can certainly derail
Absolutely.
What could be a promising career. Obviously by now that Jeff and I owned a professional minor league football team here in town. And, unfortunately, with Nevada being one of these states where there is no JUCO football whatsoever, if you don't have a scholarship on hand, if you've got problems with your SAT, you have problems with your grades, whatever the issues are, your options are, at that to find some way to consistently keep your skill set going until you can either achieve those necessary points to get where you want to go. Or you have to leave the state. Out-of-state tuition in junior colleges is absolutely, cost prohibitive for a lot of young people unless they can work out residential arrangements. The whole point of the program was to give them a platform. And many of them would just be very honest. They were knuckleheads. By the time they got to their junior and senior year, no matter what they did, even turning around and the last year having a straight A average, it was not enough to put them in a position because of what they had, done leading up to that.
Well, it's not. It happened obviously when we had the team, but I saw it with a couple players last year, high school players. I won't bring them up, for sake of embarrassment, but a solid running back that was, without a doubt, at least a D2 running back.
Yeah.
And then a lineman that was like literally, offensive lineman that was literally pancaking on every play. And when I saw him, I was like, wow, this is like what everyone wants.
Yeah.
And then I went over and talked to the coach, and I said, hey, where's this guy going? And he said, well, probably, McDonald's or Taco Bell. And I was like, well, what are you talking about, And he basically brought up that he was failing, about 60% of his classes. And it's just sad to me, that and it's not, I don't even believe that it's 100% the fault of literally the individual, the kid. Sometimes there's just not somebody there.
Yeah.
Somebody there to like hold you to the fire, or just, really let you know like how important it really is to not only for the football aspect, for just for life aspect.
Yeah, accountability is critical, and particularly with young people. I mean, we talk about, I want them to do this and I want them to do that, and he's talented, this and that. But, if you can't realize that, you're not spending the majority of your time on the field, you're spending the majority of your time in the classroom. And if you want to get, you may want to get here, but if you don't do the things that between here, 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 and here, you're never going to achieve those goals. But it really does start with family. Parental guidance is highly underrated. And, it has to be part of the package. It has to be part of the program. Or you're going to be that guy. Remember that guy? That guy that ran that 4.240,
Yep.
Could catch anything? Remember him? What's he doing? What happened to him? Where's he at?
Yep.
Yeah.
So I'm looking at the Major League Baseball site right now, and I notice Cespius is playing a rehab game, and it says a rehab game for New York's Rookie League Club. So I'm reading down, and I'm like waiting for them to mention who this club is.
Is it the 51s?
I'm guessing it's not the 51s, because why would you not say
it's the Las Vegas 51s?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, are they really that against Las Vegas and what they're doing? It's just amazing.
Yeah. The rumors are that the Mets are going to basically be, jettisoning the 51s. At this time. That seems to be, and surprisingly, as they've already broken ground on the new stadium in Summerlin. So there is going to be this brand new facility that's going to be state-of-the-art as far as minor league baseball is concerned. Yeah, this is when the Mets are planning time to basically say adios to Las Vegas.
Yeah. Well, if you clearly don't even mention the fact you're a AAA affiliate or anything, it literally says New York Mets Rookie League Club.
That's kind of dubious. Why not? Okay.
How about MILB Club?
Yeah, listen, I don't know how many layers the New York Mets have.
Right.
But I have to believe it's the base. It's single leg,
single, double, triple.
Yeah. Okay, maybe there's a Texas League.
Yeah.
And maybe they have a Caribbean League. Who knows?
Well, they obviously have a Rookie League Club.
They clearly have a Rookie League Club that will remain nameless.
So the other big news, obviously, from baseball today, your boys.
Yes, the Dodgers signed Machado.
Yep.
It's earlier in the day. I was speaking with our man in Cleveland, Jorge.
Yep.
And George was, I heard that Machado deal might be in trouble. I think he was honestly busting my balls, because George has nothing else better to do sometimes than to just make me squirm or watch me squirm. So immediately I was up, that's not what I heard, and I heard that this is a done deal, and what are you trying to do? I knew he was just laughing, saying, yeah, I got him this time. But yeah, I was kind of hoping maybe they might go, looking for somebody for that bullpen, which seems to have trouble making, closing these deals.
Would have made sense.
But maybe their theory now is just if we outscore them enough, that we won't have to worry about the bullpen getting in there. But hey, what can I say? I'm a Dodger, bleed Dodger blue through and through. I'm an LA homeboy. Congratulations, Machado. Welcome to the greatest baseball franchise in the history of
that'll win the most games, and then until playoffs start.
Well, it won't happen this year. The National League West is about as mediocre as you can get.
They are lumping up a little bit.
My goodness. Right now we are between, we've got the Dodgers actually half a game in front of the DBs, of the Diamondbacks, but, 14 and a half ahead of San Diego. But the Dodgers really, they're only, 10 games above 500.
Yeah.
This is, compared to last year.
Where all these three of these teams were dominating.
Yeah, where again, and it was literally that news was when the Dodgers would lose a game, as opposed lose a couple of games in a row, as opposed to not just winning games. Instead, you've got on the American League side, of course, the two evil empires. Well, as far as I'm concerned, Boston and New York are running away with that division. It is a two-horse race. As good as the Astros are playing, they really, they're having a tough time keeping pace with the Red Sox.
Yeah.
And if anybody thought that Houston was going to fall off from last year, you're sadly mistaken.
Oh, they're right on track.
You guys were spot on when you said that, look, Houston is still going to be kind of the team to beat.
Yeah.
I still think they're going to be the team to beat when it comes down to it. But that,
well, in the American League,
yeah.
they're going to be tough. So we'll touch a little bit about our dinner, our golden steer, And there's
Yes.
another shout for Golden Steer. This is our Golden Steer bet. So now I'm looking at this, and I still have a chance.
Okay, just to remind everybody what this bet is, Jeff, the Detroit homeboy.
That's right.
He's not a Detroit hater.
And a fan. I'm a fan.
He's a fan. He predicted that the Tigers will lose at least 100 games,
At least 100 games.
if not more. I'm actually betting that the Tigers will not lose.
So you're saying they're going to win 62?
I'm saying they're going to win 63.
Well, 62, right? Because that would make 100 and 100.
Yeah, 100, yeah.
No. So
I
they
wasn't
have to win
quite-
63 and 99.
Yeah, exactly,
right, you're right.
because the deal was 100 games.
I just gained a game. Now I have 22 to lose.
And the bet is on the basis of we go to Golden Steer Steakhouse.
That's right.
Okay.
And the loser buys. Which
Right.
either way, it's a win-win.
Either way, it's win-win.
It's a great
Golden
restaurant. If
Steer,
you haven't been there, check it out.
You can't go wrong.
Without a doubt.
Old school Vegas, the best chops, best steaks.
Okay, so here we are, 98 games in. Tigers have 41 wins. Now, if you would have told me that the Royals would be 27 and 68 and the White Sox would be 33 and 62, I obviously wouldn't have made that bet because there's not going to be 3 teams that lose 100 in one division. Now,
No.
the way it looks like there's going to be at least 2
At least 2 teams, yeah.
that are going to lose.
Oh,
So
yeah.
I'm kind of hoping that the American League gets really super aggressive and wants to win and just completely bull rushes them the last 60 games of the season.
It is mind-boggling. I mentioned my mom is in KC.
Yeah.
We've got family there. That's my second team is the Royals. The last time that I was there, we were there, is when the Royals actually turned it around
Right.
that season and made it to the World Series, lost against the Giants. So I'm hoping that she will have some luck. Will rub off on the Royals.
Yeah.
I know she's going to at least one game watch.
Oh,
this year.
nice. That's beautiful. Hey, there's nothing better than going to a baseball game on a Sunday, Saturday afternoon. I mean, and I can't wait for this new stadium. And next week, by the way, we will have one of the individuals from the 51s coming in, talking about the new stadium, talking about ticket sales and everything that's going on. So I'm looking forward to that already. But enough of that.
Yeah.
Enough of that. So let's talk a little bit just about the National League because the one division that I'm still kind of shocked about, and obviously George and I both picked the Nationals to win that division. The Phillies and the Braves, man, they just keep hanging out.
Yeah, I still think that at some point the Phillies are going to taper off.
Yeah.
Of course, I've said that about a lot of teams.
Said that about Minnesota last year.
Yeah, and they just kind of kept on going. But they have to be, 2 surprises in addition to the Seattle Mariners. That really surprises this year.
Yeah.
And they've kind of kept it up. I really expected Washington to kind of run away with that division. And, they really can't kind of get out of their own way. And I think they're more shocked than anything else as to where they're sitting kind of midway point through the season.
And then of course you have the Central and the in the National League where the Brewers just keep hanging tough and just kind of not going away themselves. And I didn't watch the whole home run derby, but I did watch Aguilar struggle in his first round. He ended up losing his first round, getting bounced in the first round. So this is when it gets interesting.
It does.
I'm not a huge fan of watching any sport all season, especially professional sports. But college basketball, yes. But when it gets past the mid-break, that's when I'm like, okay, now we can start to.
Yeah, you pay a little bit more attention to the box scores.
That's right.
And I kind of go online first thing in the morning to kind of see what took place, and I'm kind of like, okay, all right. Now it's just you start to get those sweaty palms. It's like okay, and you hope that everybody stays healthy. And sorry, John, but you really do hope that everybody stays healthy.
Yeah.
For the rest of
The
the
Cubs
way.
have been doing all this without the Vegas boy themselves. He's been on an injury most of the year as well. So.
Yeah, well, at least the Cubs are right now. They're in first place. I
Yeah.
mean, they after winning it all, they've kind of struggled a little bit at times. And they're still a solid team. But last year, as it proved, of course, with Washington, it's like, yeah, okay, if we do get there, we at least have got to try to figure out a way to win.
Yeah.
The series that they need.
Absolutely.
I mean, it cost Dusty Baker his job last year. We'll see what happens this year as far as the Nats are concerned. But the races are very tight. I mean, you know, the top 3 teams basically are separated a max of 7 games, and that's in the Central.
Yeah.
And that's with the Cards, who just fired their manager after 7 years. Yeah, this is when it really starts to heat up. America's greatest pastime.
That's right.
Right.
Well, it's the only thing on, so obviously it's passing time. We can't wait for college or for high school football. We're in the last month of high school football and college football, so those are both coming up pretty quickly.
And speaking, of course, of high school, football, locally here, we are going to have an in-studio guest. So we're going to take a break here. And when we come back, we're going to be joined by a local prep athlete, which is one of our favorite pastimes here at Southern Nevada Sports News. So we'll be back in just a couple of minutes. Southern Nevada Sports News coming to you from WWDBTV.com. We'll be right back.
The golf store you've been waiting for is now open. Bob Allen Golf is ready to help you take your game to the next level. Bob Allen Golf is located at 6415 South Fort Apache, Las Vegas 89148. Choose your favorite clubs from our selection of Bridgestone, Callaway, Cleveland, XXIO, Srixon, Ping, Wilson, and more. We'll custom fit them in our state-of-the-art full-swing golf simulator. Come hang out with us and practice on our putting green to find out which club is perfect for you. Have your clubs repaired, reshafted, and regripped in our on-site tour shop. And talk about accessories. Guys and gals will feel comfortable and look sharp in the many sizes, colors, and options of apparel from Greg Norman, Black Clover, Under Armour, and more. The team at Bob Allen Golf takes your game as seriously as you do. Join our online family at boballengolf.com and stop in the store to meet us. Remember, at Bob Allen Golf, your game is in the bag.
All right, we are back for round 2. Southern Nevada Sports News coming to you from WWDBTV.com. My name is Bill Miller, along with
Jeff Belknap.
And as you can see, we are joined in studio. It's not a figment of your imagination. And as one of our regular features, we are very happy to have another young prep athlete here, locally here in the Las Vegas Henderson area. And we are joined by Dillon Fedor,
Yes, sir.
junior kicker with Liberty High School, the Patriots. And his dad, Greg.
How you doing?
Hey, thank you both for taking time to come in and join us in studio, because we know that within about another 30 days, your time is going to be pretty limited.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
so we really appreciate it. We've had your coach
Last week, actually.
on the show.
Last week,
Yeah, and I was out last week. But before then, we've had your coach regular on. In fact, we had him on before your championship game against Bishop Gorman.
Bishop.
Yeah, and and so thank you again for joining us.
Yeah, thanks for having us.
Yeah,
Yeah, absolutely.
Thank
we
you.
really appreciate it. So you're a junior.
Yes.
You're scheduled to graduate 2020. And how long have you been playing on the varsity team?
I started as a freshman actually.
So
and
okay.
yeah, so it's pretty cool, like playing with the big guys. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
I'm like the smallest on the team, so it's cool playing with them.
And you just happen to be their kicker.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. I've always have to ask this with kickers. Did you start out playing in soccer?
I started off flag football. They needed a kicker, so
You were just like,
yeah.
I'll give it a shot.
Yeah, I gave it a shot, but
Okay.
my
Been
back.
soccer since 4 years old.
I played soccer when I was 4, and I did MMA when I was 6.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
So yeah, that's key tools to being a kicker, MMA and soccer.
Yeah.
Actually.
Either kicking the ball or defending yourself.
Yeah.
Or kicking someone
Or
else.
kicking. Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. I don't think we've ever had. And we've had a lot of kickers, believe it or not,
Yeah.
on the show.
Really?
Actually, one of our old
level.
hosts was a punter for in Australia.
Oh, wow.
So, yeah.
With this group called Pro Kick, and they
we know
have.
Pro Kick.
You do?
Yeah,
You're familiar with
yeah.
Pro Kick? Yeah.
We trained with them.
You did. When your first ever competition was with Pro Kick.
This is an incredibly small world, because they're actually they're in the United States. They've got a lot of their disciples from Australia that are playing D1, D2, and in the NFL, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah. They have Jordan Berry, who's Pittsburgh's.
We go to a lot of camps, and a lot of the Aussies come out for the punting jobs. And we're good friends with Tilby on USC, and the Ohio State kicker was, we met him.
Cameron.
Cameron,
Yep.
yeah. and Sean Noonberger's a kicker now, and Drew Basil, it's almost like his big brother from Ohio State. He was there 2010 to 14. So it's a small fraternity, all these kickers. So yeah, we've had, he stayed over at our house at least 4 times, Drew Basil. Mike Hollis, he was a Pro Bowler kicker for Jacksonville. Has stayed at our house a couple of times and saw his potential and wanted to be part of it. Came out here and trained with him. And I said, I have an extra room, stay at my place. And
beautiful.
Yeah, so it's
cool,
it's so cool. Yeah, it's really cool.
Well, first of all, good on you for opening up your house.
Yeah.
And I think it goes a long way with these guys. And and I think if everybody did that, my goodness gracious. But what a small world.
Yeah.
That you would know, pro kicks. So
Yeah.
We're very well, we're certainly aware of just how this little group in Australia is, and their type of training. It's just something funneling these guys in.
They're trying to get in here badly.
Yeah. And
more of the punting. They're not kickers. They're
exactly.
puntings.
But long snappers as well.
Oh yeah, long snappers.
I'm telling anybody.
Which a lot of people don't realize that's a specialized thing.
I'm telling anybody right now, if your kid is not huge or anything, be a long snapper. Because we go to these camps, there'll be 100 kickers, 30 punters, 10 to 10 long snappers, and D1 will pick you up. You just need that speed and accuracy, and that's all you have to work on.
That's what it's about.
And if I'm a father and I saw potential, I was his coach for at 10 years old for flag football. Being from Canada, my whole life's hockey, and so I brought in a friend to be assistant coach. I knew football, but my American friends know a lot better than I do. So when we needed a kicker, they gave me this kit, and it had an orange tee in it. And I said, I need a kicker. So 5 kids, including my son, lined up, and he went last, and he just belted the ball, and I didn't know who to compare him to. And they were saying, oh my gosh, and he kicked the first time, and then he won the kick punt pass for all Nevada, went down to the Chargers game and represented all West, California, Colorado.
Wow.
Just doing stuff like that. So then I started looking on YouTube at kids his age kicking. I said, wow, he's there, and I said, he's playing 5 sports at a time in 8th grade at 5 sports. And I said, this is the route to go. This is the route to go, and forget the MMA, forget, you can still train, but let's kind of focus on this. And we went out to Dana White's team in 7th and 8th grade. He had the Cowboys here, and he went on as a kicker, and that was the greatest experience being with him. First class all the way, Dana White. Come to the games, and it was awesome experience.
Well, the one thing that I know about high school is one of the rules is when if you kick the ball in the end zone, they can't return it.
Yes.
I've been to several of your games last year. Every time kicking in the end zone, which is basically like very important because you're basically taking away that whole aspect of the return.
Yeah.
Which I go to a lot of other games. They don't really necessarily have a kicker. They squig the kick. They end up getting the ball at the 50-yard line. They're already half the field.
See it all the time. Yeah.
So seeing a guy kick like yourself, and I've been out there. I have seen you kick, by the way. I was at the Saguaro game last year, and I saw you kick several in the end zone. I was like, man, this kid can boot the ball. So it's great to see that. So how do you practice for something like that? I mean, what do you get into to be like, okay, I need to be able to kick it at least that to the end zone?
It's what Morocco wants. You know what I mean? He wants it in the end zone every time. So
yeah,
I practice.
Good for him.
Yeah.
So I practice, I have a schedule. I kick off twice a week with the team, and he just wants it in the end zone. He doesn't want it on the 5 returnable, just in the end zone every time.
Right.
Yeah.
So I mean, but how do you do it? I mean, I'm sure that you just didn't get out there the first time, or did you? Did you just go out there and be able to kick it that?
No, just a lot of practice. You know what I mean?
Okay.
With my dad, we go out a lot. We practice on our spare time, and just hard work pays off.
Absolutely. Yeah, I appreciate that.
Yeah.
So squats.
I do.
What do you do to actually get the strength up?
I don't really do squats. I go light on squats, but our team's all lifting 300 pounds. I'm just lifting 100. I just do it for flexibility. I really just stretch a lot. And
right.
MMA helped a lot because you use your speed as kicks and your core a lot, and you need a strong core to kick. So,
oh, nice.
Yeah.
Kickboxing, that and Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, focus. The martial arts is good for focus, pressure kicks. I believe you have never missed a kick in playoffs, important games and stuff, big kicks. So that focus from the martial arts kind of helped him. The kickboxing for leg speed. I play golf with a bunch of buddies. Little Korean guy, 150, outdrives 300 yards because of speed.
Yeah.
So it's almost the same. It's with the leg speed. For 142 pounds, you need the speed. You have to have good technique. Technique is huge for that size. So our big thing now is, I told him every field goal he makes off the kickoff.
You give him $100?
$10. No, because I saw him do 3 in a row last week. I watched 3 in a row go through it. I said, no way, $100, $10.
I was about to say he's about to buy himself a Mercedes.
No. Oh, jeez. Yeah. So
$10. That's still a good deal.
Yeah.
Still a good deal,
if he gets,
Liberty's going to put some points, and they're going to definitely get downfield. So they're either going to go in the
Wait,
end
who's
zone or they're
keeping
gonna
track of
go
this?
into,
Do you guys have a
I am, for
whiteboard
sure.
at the house? Okay.
I'm keeping
I know
track.
that. I don't have to ask you.
For sure. Oh, jeez.
Oh, that's so great.
Yeah.
Hey, but you know what? To have an incentive like that, I mean, that's just a bonus. But I mean, there's obviously so much more to play for. I mean, you have a team. It's a championship team. They've obviously won 8 straight. You're wearing the shirt. They're stepping up into a higher division and playing a little bit more talented teams. I mean, when you see a schedule like that, because you're the kicker, do you just be like, yeah, man, just guys go out there and do your thing. I'll be ready when you need me? Or
I actually love our schedule because we're playing more and more talented teams, and it's just helping us for Gorman.
Sure.
Yeah, and our main goal is beating Gorman, so we can't ask for more than that.
Okay, cool. So I know it's harder to get picked up as a kicker.
Yes.
I mean, it's such a specialty position. But if you had like a dream school,
whatever school wants me, to be honest, if they believe in me, then what school wants me, to be honest, gives the scholarship.
are you a football? Do you like college
Yeah,
football? Okay, so who's your team?
UCLA,
Okay.
for sure.
He wants UCLA but whoever pays his college, being a dad, whoever pays his college,
That's right.
we went to the USC and UCLA and USC camps this year, and he did really well, top 2 in both, 58 kickers across the country going there. He was he lost in overtime in USC, and then I think did really well in UCLA. So we like kind of the West Coast schools. We've been all over Ohio State. We've been all around on recruiting trips. LSU just invited us to the Old Miss game on September 29th. So we're going to go down there. Notre Dame, Notre Dame, Syracuse game November invited us. So, it's starting to happen right now. Kickers are like back burner, to the quarterbacks and the running backs. They're kind of coming in later. They're not. They know about them, but they're not really coming out strong as a quarterback in the thing.
Well, I could tell you this. I'm a Michigan fan. We never have a good kicker. I mean, so I'd love to see you go to Michigan.
Well, we'd love to see Harbaugh stay at my house, like he did for the punter. Did you hear about that?
Yeah, I did hear about that.
He slept over the punter's house, said, I'm not leaving until you sign. And the punter signed, So you never know. Saban, my helicopter, I've seen him go on the football fields in his helicopter and say, we want you to come to Bama and stuff. And we got actually a letter from Bama to come out to their camp this year.
That's great.
Didn't make it out there. But next year it's just going to be all my vacation time at work. It's going to be probably recruiting trips and stuff.
So, I mean, obviously, this is huge, to be able to be invited to all these spots. I mean, how you feeling about that?
I love it. You know what I mean? Like traveling a lot, spending more time with my dad, just like kicking more. It's just like, it's awesome. It's helping me prepare for the season, and I can't wait till the season starts.
Nice. Which is just a few weeks away.
Yeah, a few weeks away.
Yeah.
How do you feel about starting early this year?
I
think August 15th.
We're working very hard, so it's probably going to pay off right now. And we got a tough schedule. We got IMG and Sawara and a Utah team, so we need the practice now.
Well, I like the fact that Coach Morocco, he's not willing to shy away from playing anybody.
No.
And
great person, great coach.
He really is. And we always have a soft spot in our heart, for public schools. And so to see, Liberty do as well as they have, and then a lot of the other local schools, and we know that, it's tough playing against Gorman. It's literally like playing against a college team.
Exactly.
But the only way to beat them is to keep working at it and keep lining up tougher teams. Between that time where you're going to end up having to play.
Yeah. And now because of the way it's set up, that's a division game. That's in order to win the division, where it used to be the championship game.
Yeah, I know. It's
so
going to be.
That's a little bit, kind of.
We'd like to get a win
bit.
over Gorman before he leaves Liberty. That would be our biggest gift to
I
Morocco.
think that'd be great too. All of those kids that matriculate through that program.
Oh, for sure.
Well, I know that you guys got a couple of big standout tackles. That'll have over 25 offers between them.
Yeah.
And Pac-10 and UCLA offers.
Oh,
UCLA keeps getting these guys from
Dorian
Vegas.
Thompson's going there.
Yeah,
Good.
TR, Dorian.
We've had him on the show.
Yeah. Oh, really? He's
Yeah.
a good friend of Dillon's. That's great. They got Bo's going there.
Yep.
Yeah,
He's
we
been
had
on the
that.
show. as
Good
well.
friend.
on
Good
the
friend.
show,
See,
yeah.
we all played all American teams and
Okay.
played for the USA team with all these guys. He was younger, but he went up with these guys, and it was a great experience. So he got to know all these players over the years, and I know their dads and their parents and stuff like that. It's kind of cool seeing them do well and going to UCLA. And,
that's great.
And now the new coach there, Chip Kelly. So big things. Be going.
I
happen over
really
there.
expect huge things.
He's
from
very
Chip
happy.
Kelly.
You're a
Very
UCLA
happy.
guy, eh?
Oh, absolutely.
Oh, geez.
Yeah.
He's a big UCLA guy.
Die hard.
Yeah.
I am very happy that Chip Kelly's a coach,
Yep.
and I knew that he was going to be successful in recruiting, particularly on
absolutely.
the offensive side of the ball. It was we had Dorian on, we had Bo on, and he shared with me when Bo signed, and he's also sent me over a picture of
Dorian
in
in his uniform.
His uniform. Yeah, you're right. Right.
I really look forward to college ball. I'm an LA homeboy.
Oh, so that's your team, eh?
Yeah, it was either going to be SC or UCLA, and I picked the Bruins.
That's right. So grades. How are we doing on the grades?
All A's and B's.
All A's and B's.
Yeah, I'm taking AP classes this year.
Oh, wow.
I took all honors last year,
Yeah.
and I got all A's and B's.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
Yeah, one of the things it is so important that it's both sides. It's on the field and also off the field. And it's the classrooms where you're going to spend the majority of your time. And we've seen, unfortunately, how things potentially great career can get sidetracked. But we also know that typically, if the family is solidly involved, obviously as your family is, rarely do you see that aspect of it sort of falter off.
Yeah.
And we're so glad to hear that.
That's great.
Yeah, well done. Well
So,
done.
Dad, where are you from?
Right here.
Yeah.
Niagara Falls, Canada.
Niagara Falls, okay.
I just took them back. We did the UCLA camp, and that night we flew back to Canada,
Yep.
Buffalo, and then Niagara Falls I'm from.
Yep.
And born and raised, parents born there. So we went down for 5 days. Unfortunately, it was when Knights were losing the playoffs,
Oh, no.
and it was sad. I brought my friends shirts of Knights. They're all rooting for them. It was great. We were going to bars and with the kids, and where kids could go and stuff, and everybody was going for Knights. It was just unbelievable in
What a
Canada.
story.
It was the greatest story, and it was just sad. Everybody was down, and all the kids had their Knight shirt on, and it was great that the other side, a different countries rooting for us.
Oh, absolutely.
But so we were down there at that time. I took him a Blue Jay Yankee game, and he got a kick at my old high school where I was a kicker. But I used to, if I got it to the 15-yard line, they were going crazy, And then so there was a kicker. Their kicker shows up. He's going to be a senior. He was telling us, "Oh, I kicked a 35," and he was just yapping, and Dillon warmed up and brought it to the 60 and right down the middle, and it was CFL post,
Right.
And the kid was so quiet, humbled, and followed him around. It was so, and that because he'll never talk trash or anything,
right.
but he said that way will humble him. But that was that he beat my record right away,
So, Maid of the Mist. You guys
We went on it.
Yeah.
We went on it.
It's absolutely.
That was,
Fantastic.
he said that was
it
his
is
high.
such a-
Isn't it great?
Such a
God,
great
yeah.
time.
Oh,
Yeah, that was. He said one of the highlights of the trip is
Yeah.
going over there. In Niagara Falls, there's only when I grew up 72,000. Now it's about 80 because 2 new casinos came in. So all my friends have businesses and stuff. So we had a beautiful suite, Embassy Suites, overlooking the
Yeah,
Niagara
I
Falls.
know exactly which one you're talking
Yeah. So everybody in restaurants, we were like kings over there. They really treated us well, and it's good. It's unfortunately every 5 years because we're so busy with, now with the traveling, and before it was with the, all-star teams and stuff like that. We just never had time, and when we did have time, let's go on the beach in Laguna.
Yeah.
Let's just go relax in Laguna, but your neck of woods, and it's nothing better
That's
than
a beautiful area.
And we're going on next Wednesday up there again. He has a camp in Thousand Oaks at Cal Lutheran.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's the elite California
high-octane,
kickers.
high school program,
Right,
yeah.
right. But all the best kickers from California. He was invited in 8th grade, so we're invited. And we go up, stay in the dorms, and I'm the only father they put in the dorms. It's kind of cool. They feed me and all that,
Nice.
so
Beautiful.
we have a good time. And I want him to have fun. Like
Okay.
we go on so many of these trips that I can't just go. We're going on a kicking trip, and like this. We'll do a beach. We'll do Disneyland if it's in Florida. Or Disney World. We'll do different. I make it if it's a 3-day camp. I'll make it a 7-day trip, and we're in the beaches
Beautiful.
and we enjoy it. Enjoy it.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
171 trips, 16 years old. So
Nice.
It's so important that you enjoy the process.
Yeah.
Because you hear these horror stories about, where the families are at each other's throats. Go to this program, go to that program, and
Or they pick the program and don't let the
you're
kids
gonna
decide.
go.
I'm going to tell you something. I watched 30 for 30 with the Mannings.
Yeah.
And this is about 5 years ago, they were talking about, and Archie was sitting back and said, wherever he wants to go, I'm behind him. And from that day on, I'm back. I would have loved him to go to Notre Dame, Catholic boy, growing up. I would have loved, that would have been my dream for him, but it's his dream. So,
right.
and I also tell him,
So
enjoy.
Michigan.
He's getting that everywhere.
kidding,
Yeah.
I'm kidding.
But I tell him, enjoy your high school. It's just half over.
That's
It's
right.
just we were in high school and went like this.
Oh, yeah.
So enjoy that. Don't even start thinking about the college. That'll all come in. I'll do the back stuff. I'll get you there. I'll get you seen. But just focus on your high school, your marks, and that's a good thing. A father could tell a kid anything, and he'll listen so much. But when Mike Hollis or Drew Basil or Noonberger or Cameron are telling him, keep your marks up, get your marks up, you got more choices and more things. So that's kind of stuck in his head where a father, you're pumping a kid, okay, Dad, whatever, I'll do my work. But when everybody else is telling him marks are so important if you want a better choice.
That's right.
Oh yeah.
No doubt
Dream
about
for
it.
me on the West Coast, Stanford. That would be that would be a dream thing. But we'll see his ACTs coming out in February.
Well,
You might need a 32 to get in there.
have you given some consideration to a major?
Probably something in business or something involving sports because I love sports so much. Sports medicine.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm considering.
Stanford, UCLA, those would be
Great,
Yeah.
great schools.
high octane
Yeah.
medical programs.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, you involved in social media.
Yes. My Instagram is DillonJohn1,
Put it out there.
and Twitter Dillon is lit, DILLON is lit, and then I have a YouTube channel. It's called Swavy Dillon, and then SWAVYDILLON.
Okay.
See, I just knew the Swavy Dillon. I didn't even know about the other 100 things.
Yeah, it's good. You know what? Honestly, with the social media, it really helps a lot of these young kids get seen, and it helps us. Because I'm always constantly on there trying to find that player that I want to get on here, but I'm a guy who go to a game. Bill will go to a game. He's got his high schools. I got high schools right down the street from me. I've driven to Boulder City to go to games. I love to watch these guys compete.
That's awesome.
Especially the guys that are committed. Sometimes like when I'm looking at a guy and I'm like, oh, you're great, and then I'm looking at him like, but come on, what push, we want to push them, but you can't do that with everybody.
No.
So to be self-motivated, to be somebody that wants to go out there and be the best that they can be, I mean,
Yeah.
that's gonna show. It's gonna show in a lot
I'm
of
going
people.
to shout out to Morocco on that. He gives me the green light. He knows we go to these camps. We're not sitting around doing vacations all summer. Anything we go to is a competition or a camp, or we'll go train with the UCLA kicker or the USC kicker. We'll hang out with them for the afternoon. We've done that many times. So we kind of, he lets us go. And like I said, next week we're going on a 6-day trip, 3 days kicking, and I threw in 3 days of, relaxing stuff. But he gives them the green light. He knows he's very hardworking. And at practice, they do the stretching. He goes to his side, basically, does his thing until they need him. It's like everywhere. So kickers are kind of, by themselves and on their own. And a lot of coaches might get on him, but Morocco lets him be, and it just helps him.
Beautiful.
If somebody's on you. Yeah,
so we have a minute left.
Yep.
So one thing we like to always get with the people we come on is a NFC team, an AFC team. Who do you think is going to win, and then who's going to win the Super Bowl?
We'll
Okay,
start with
I'm a
you.
diehard
NFC
Eagles fan, and they're
Okay,
going to
Eagles?
repeat.
Okay.
They're going to repeat.
And who are they going to play against?
They will probably play. I would go New England again.
New England,
Yeah,
okay, so
their
rematch.
team in a rematch with,
Okay.
And,
Fultz did great last year, and Fultz did
Yep.
great, and Wentz is just even
Yeah, he's better.
higher to me, but
Eagles will win it.
Eagles winning it.
All right.
Okay.
How about you?
I think
Yeah.
the same, but the Patriots.
Oh,
Patriots, Tom
here we
Brady,
go.
He's
So-
the GOAT.
Woo.
Yeah.
So Brady obviously could be in his last year. That wouldn't
What a
sway
way
your
to finish
opinion?
it. No,
That would be a way
no,
to finish.
no, it'd be a good finish, like Elway. He
Okay.
did it,
Go out as a
I grew up
non-stop.
across from Buffalo and watching poor Jim Kelly
Yeah,
4
lose
years
four
in a row.
yeah.
So that we were always ready to go down and party in Buffalo, and we're driving back.
Oh my God.
Yeah, it was just.
So I'm a
terrible.
Lions fan. No chance the Lions win it?
I used to work at a Windsor casino and used to deal to Deion Sanders, or
Okay,
not
yeah.
Deion, Barry Sanders.
Sanders, yeah.
And great guy, like
Yeah, super
great.
nice guy.
But Cecil Fielder was my guy
I
back
love that
then.
guy.
He used to invite us to the games all the time. I said, "Can you get us hockey tickets?" And he'd laugh, he'd chuckle because
Yeah, he's a great dude.
yeah, he's a great guy. So yeah, I was in Windsor for a few years, so
Oh, nice.
right across from Detroit.
Yep, I spent
Good,
a lot of time
good
there.
sport town.
Yep.
All right,
Excellent.
well, guys, thank you so much for coming in.
Hey.
We really appreciate it. Folks, this hour just immediately, it's blown by as always. Join us next Wednesday. There will be July 25th, 6 p.m. Pacific Daylight Time for another installment of Southern Nevada Sports News coming to you from WWDBTV.com. Have a great week.
God bless.
God bless, guys.